magazines, when in fact, the pictures had scarcely done her justice. Were it not for her plain clothes and her purple rubber Fitbit, Dr. Lee could be from the distant future when aesthetic imperfections, such as weak jaws and dry skin, had been bred out of the species altogether. "How are you today?" she asked, pert and professional. Dan straightened his back. "Excellent, Doctor, just excellent." He always turned into a prize student in the presence of their doctor, as if he were expecting her to reward his good behaviour by pulling out a vial of magical fluid with a secretive grin and the preamble, "I only give this to very special patients." Dr. Lee walked purposefully across the room to the sink, where she squirted antibacterial gel into her palm and rubbed her hands together before seating herself at her desk. "So," she said, "we're going to try again?" "We should get a loyalty reward card," Dan said. "Every 10th round is free, right?" Dr. Lee opened the Ardens file. "Let's hope it doesn't come to that." "Doctor," Grace said, pulling a folded newspaper article from her handbag, "I wanted to know what you think about trying dihydroepiandrosterone." She pronounced the compound carefully. "I've been reading about a maverick fertility specialist in London. This article says he has the highest success rate in the country, double the national average." She held out the clipping as evidence. Dr. Lee gave a reassuring smile. "Grace, I assure you, you're getting the very best care here. Everything that can be done will be done. Studies have not been able to demonstrate any real benefit to taking DHEA." Grace silently refolded the article and returned it to her bag. Dr. Lee was as compassionate as a patient could want, but every time she scuffed into the room in pastel-coloured ballet flats to deliver bad news with her standard chaser, "Sometimes it just takes time," Grace wanted to shake her and shout, "Easy for you to say." In 3 weeks, she and Dan would celebrate their 2nd wedding anniversary. The happy event had taken place within a year of their meeting on Grace's 40th birthday, and it had given her a glimpse of the dream she had all but given up on. Blanket forts in the lounge room, homemade Play-Doh cooked over the stove on a rainy afternoon, piggyback rides, fairy bread, and bedtime stories told with all the voices. These were the things she had always wanted, but feared had slipped the noose. Until she met Dan. She looked at him now, her shrewd, caring grizzly bear of a husband, and felt a surge of gratitude and love. She squeezed his knee, and he rewarded her with a smile. Her heart lurched. He would make such a good father. "As this is your 6th round of treatment, I feel I should take you through the statistics again," Dr. Lee said. "We know the odds," Grace said. Dr. Lee nodded and began tapping her keyboard. "I'm going to prescribe human growth hormones." "What?" Dan put a protective hand on Grace's back. "Like the performance enhancers athletes use?" "They could help improve the quality of the eggs. We haven't used them before because we don't like to pump you full of too many drugs, but I think it's time we give HGH a go," Dr. Lee said. Grace forced a smile. At home with Dan and out with her girlfriends, she was able to make light of her age. "You know, the Chinese delicacy, the century egg. Well, let's just say my eggs would be highly prized in Shanghai," she'd joke while her friends dutifully tittered. But here, in this clinic, in front of the young specialist who was 1 part medical prodigy, 1 part Vogue model, Grace's sense of humour deserted her, and she felt worn out and thin-skinned. She swallowed. "You think these drugs will give us a better chance?" "I believe so," Dr. Lee said. "We'll start you on your FSH injections tonight, and in a week you can come back for your first blood test." "You do think it will work, don't you, Doctor? I mean, we're not wasting our time?" Grace asked, edging forward on her seat. Dr. Lee paused a moment. "At your age, these things can be tricky, but we have the very best staff and equipment here. There's no medical reason you can't have a perfectly healthy pregnancy." Grace exhaled and smiled. "Okay. So I'll send you on the 28th, and you, Dan, will have to come in to provide your specimen." "Ah, the sweet ambience of the deposit room," Dan said. "Every time I get a whiff of White King, I get aroused." Grace gave a tight grin, grateful for the attempt at levity. Dr. Lee tapped the end of her pen on her desk. "Right, right," said Grace. "Right," said Dan.